Hi there, I'm Danny Henderson. Welcome back to my disclosure channel. Now, my friend on the screen is Daisy Papp. She is a mindset extraordinaire. She is a peaceful warrior on our planet, and she's also friends with a friend of mine, and his name is Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. Now, a lot of you that come to my channel a lot, you'll have seen him. I've been on here with him. I've been on Rumble with him and Dr. Lee Merritt and Dr. Christiane Northrup. And Dr. Reiner Fuellmich is one of the greatest, bravest men on our entire planet, and I'm going to tell you why. That man, as a lawyer, took Deutsche Bank to court and won. He took Volkswagen to court and he won. He is an excellent, excellent human being, and he's been arrested and he's in prison, and we are going to get him out. Daisy Papp, over to you. Please introduce how you met Reiner and the other company that we spoke about that he also took to court, the big,
Mm.
bold warrior that he is for humanity. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Danielle, for your kind invitation. And yes, is it not beautiful that we have a friend in common and that now that's how we meet? I find that lovely. Well, so I met Reiner because I was so in awe what he started doing in 2020, July 14th, 15th, when he started to speak about COVIDism. That's how I call it nowadays. And he was really thinking, okay, so now let's clear this up, let's have a look. And well, the thing was much bigger and larger than anyone had thought at the beginning. And I shared my admiration and I wrote to him and I sent some portraits that I created and I sent them in a big box from America to the Corona Investigative Committee and then I received a very big thank you. And that is how we met and that is how we connected. And we started speaking more frequently and we started sharing ideas. And when Reiner then started ICIC, Investigative Crimes, now International Crimes Investigative Committee. And then I thought, okay, so when he starts it, he needs a logo. So I created a logo for him. And then that is what was used for a while until they changed it to the big bull because he's a big bull, so I think. And I admire his courage and uh, for example, the biggest shipping company in the world is, or one of the biggest, is Kühne and Nagel, and he also brought to light some terrifying and horrifying fraud. So he's very courageous, and he stands up when something's not right, and I admire that, and I thank him for that. And now that he's IJ from Mexico, I'm not an attorney, so I don't speak legalese. Yeah, I speak human language, and I find it just horrifying that he is tortured there. I mean, how else can you tell it when somebody is in solitary confinement for more than 5 months?
Oh my God, it's such a difficult subject. I want to okay, can you hear me okay? We're getting a bit of interference this end. So guys watching, so he was a leader in the COVID pandemic, and he's the guy that you would see sitting on a long table, like a boardroom table with other people, arguing, bringing information on the evilness and the crimes against humanity. So he's gone from the Kuehne shipping highlight to suing and winning Deutsche Bank and Volkswagen, two German companies, and so successful and a chronic threat to the cabal, to the Illuminati, to the deep state. And he knew it. And when I met him, he was waiting for his darling wife to come and join him in Mexico. This is a few years ago. And somebody gifted him a session with me. I'm a therapist, and we met, and I instantly recognized this lovely, handsome man from, speaking out on crimes against humanity. And we just instantly clicked. And I told him that his wife would be with him before March, and I was right. And she was. I think she actually got back with him over, together finally, because they were forcibly separated because he's had so many death threats because he's such a big bull and a warrior on our planet, Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. And so we just enjoyed a lovely relationship. He was the happiest, obviously, when he was with his darling wife and his dogs. And anyway, the story goes that he had to renew his German passports at the German embassy in Mexico. And when he went there, he was arrested by low-enders. They kidnapped him, they put him on a plane. And was it Munich he was taken to, or Frankfurt?
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, and then arrested in Germany. So the lowest of the low scummery on our planet, the cowards, arrested him, sneakily in the German embassy and stole him and kidnapped him. And he's been in prison for over a year. This was October of last year, not the one just gone, but the year before. That's how long this beautiful man has been incarcerated illegally. And he was working with a bunch of hoodlums that he didn't know were hoodlums, and they have created fraud and fake bullshit against him, and all with their court friends. You know how the Illuminati and the bloodline families work, and they've arrested him, and this is not going to stand. Let me show you who this gorgeous man is, this brave, brave warrior. Here he is. Let me get this out of the way. There he is. This is on Rumble, one thing that he and I did together. Come on. Okay, let's hear his lovely voice. Hang on a second. There's something.
Of course, and you're absolutely right. They're laughing at us. They think we're as stupid as they are, or maybe even more stupid, because they consider us, I think they consider us cattle, no more than cattle. But the reason why I'm saying that they're laughing at us is they wanted the cases in order to start the pandemic. The pandemic, as they call it, is a public health emergency of international concern. They need this public health emergency of international concern in order to be able to use untested new drugs on people, which is what happened with the so-called vaccines. So the first thing they needed is cases. They needed, and that's what they used the PCR test for, because there weren't any. The cases they needed in order to be able to declare the public health emergency of international concern.
Okay, so I can't go any further with that because he's obviously talking about things that get channels censored, because obviously the monsters at the top, the algorithms and the bots, they try and shift anyone's telling what's actually been happening on our planet. And sadly, our beautiful friend is incarcerated for telling the truth and for going up against the cabal and the low enders. And so, as Daisy and I are here today, as his friends, as his loving friends that love him very much and care for him and his family, his wife, and we're here again to highlight this insanity, this absolute crime against this human, this great international lawyer that fights for humanity. And as you said, 5 months in isolation, they're trying to break him. Which is what they do. You know, in England, we've got a bloke, Tommy Robinson, in prison. I mean, it's just so mind-blowing to me how low these one-celled amoebas go to try to break humans, good humans that fight for justice and love and, for truth. Can you share with us your papers and tell us what you've been doing, how you've been working to try and get attention on this global case so we can get him out of prison? Go ahead.
So what I think is that many humans have flaws. I'm one of them. Yeah, we all do have flaws.
Yeah.
And I believe that it is important to help those who made maybe mistakes in the case of Reiner Fuellmich, and to correct these mistakes. And I'm here to bring that to their awareness. And it is possible that somebody is going and rushing the wrong way. And I'd like to peacefully, humanely help them to maybe make a U-turn and correct what happened and what was done upon Reiner. And so what I'm doing, I'm writing letters to leaders around the world, but I do that already before Reiner was hijacked from Mexico. By the way, not from the German embassy, but at the airport when he disembarked the plane on the way to get his passport. And what I'm doing, I'm writing letters here to the new administration, to President Trump, and I'm happy to share if you'd like. Would you like me to share one of
Yes. Mhm.
these letters? Let me have a look. And where you can see, let me see which one is which. This should be it. Let me see if that's it. That should be it. Let me have a look. Yeah. So I'm sharing with this was, you see the date is November 19th, and so after the election, and that I'm sharing with him. So who am I? And that I'm friends with Reiner, and I share what he did, because he, in more than 400 interviews with experts from various fields around the world, he found out some findings that are now actually proven to be correct, because the US Congress has this report on the COVIDism pandemic, and everything that Reiner already mentioned is actually written down there. And I think this is one of the most important papers now that is globally officially available to everyone. And I think it is important that even the politicians in Germany see that the reasons why they wanted to incarcerate Reiner, it's already in the open. He was right. He was actually standing for Germany's sovereignty, and he's a national hero. So whoever made mistakes in that German justice system, please come to the conclusion that Reiner is a free man based on this finding in the 520 pages. So whatever anyone is accusing Reiner of dissolved into thin air. So please correct what was done, and please let him free. That is what I think. So here is also, I'm writing to President Trump that Reiner is friendly with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I'm certain, here I'm writing, I'm sure that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's friends with Dr. Reiner Fuellmich, can attest that Dr. Fuellmich is a man of unwavering moral integrity, of great value to you and your presidency. And I certainly believe that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is one of them. Let me see. And then I'm happy to share another letter. Let me see which one this is. I'm also writing, or I was writing, a letter to the German Ministry of Justice to bring that to their awareness. By the way, so I'm receiving answers to my letters. I'm not sharing precise answers here, because that's not supportive in any shape or form at this very moment. And here, so this is the German Minister of Justice. So I would like to share with them that, hey, there's a lot of things that went wrong in the German justice system, and please free Reiner. It's important that they let him go right now, unconditionally,
Yes.
unconditionally and immediately. Yeah, because I do believe that some of these decision makers, they are not aware. They don't know what they don't know. Like us, yeah, we don't know what we don't know. So I believe that it's very important that we bring to their awareness information so that they can make the right decision.
Absolutely.
And free Reiner immediately, unconditionally.
Free
Then
Reiner
I also,
immediately.
yes, immediately, and that is my wish. That is my wish, and that's what I'm standing for.
It's actually quite
Yeah.
hard reading, this is our friend, like we know him. We know him. And reading your words, it's so hard, that knowing he's being tortured, and he's just a really good guy. He's such a good guy. It's just wicked. It reminds me of World War II, and they started stealing Jewish people and torturing them and shutting down their companies. And the world is just in the wrong hands. It's been in the wrong hands for so long. And we know that. Another friend of the channel, Captain Paul Watson, he was also arrested, and he was one of the founders of Greenpeace. And I've had them both on my channel, interviewed Reiner, interviewed him, and he was arrested. Another one, they're taking the giants of justice and they're trying to kill them, murder, unalive them and hold them, incarcerate them to stop them speaking out. Thankfully, Captain Paul Watson was just released before he was thrown into a Japanese jail. He never would have come out, and everyone knew it. And people threw themselves on the mercy, I think, of a Danish judge. They, thank God, like just let him go. And he's a father to two little boys with a wife, and he's done amazing things. He's sold so many he's helped so many whales. He's damaged so many whaling boats. Good, well done, Captain Paul. That's what we do. We damage the boats that murder our sea life. And like Reiner is the human, who is just standing against the injustice on so many levels. And he's such a good guy. And it's just so awful to think that he's in prison and he's being abused and tortured. It's just unthinkable. I'm writing to Robert Kennedy too, and there are people that in my circle who I'm going to really try and insist that they get letters and the videos and information on Reiner will just really turn up the heat to boiling. And we're asking people out there watching, we're going to give you basically a template that you can also write letters with all the addresses to help get behind free Reiner Fuellmich. Because he is such a good guy. Is there anything else that you want to say at this stage on Dr. Reiner?
Well, I think it is important that we rethink as the one human family. We are many. We are many. And it is, I believe, it is important that we come to the conclusion that we find the common denominator instead of looking into differences. Differences make us unique, and the common denominators make us humane. And when we start focusing on what we actually as the one human family all wish for, is it not that we all wish to live a peaceful life where we can be contented and thrive and care for our families? No matter where you live, no matter what cultural background. That's what I found speaking to thousands of people from around the world. Different cultures, different geographic, different continents. And when we understand that is what we all want, so how do we get there? Is it not time now that we come together and instead of solely speaking, this is wrong, the wrong is not going to transform itself when we continue feeding it with our energy, with our thoughts, with our time, with the pixels we create on a screen. Let's start speaking about how do we wish to live? What is it that is serving then all of the human family? What is it? How can we achieve that? Because when we continue focusing on what's not right, of course, it's important that we bring justice and we say, no, this cannot happen. People shall be able to make a consented decision, not only about their whereabouts, but also about their health care and their decision that is related to that. So how do we get there? How do we get that, hey, I'm free to choose? How do we get there? Well, and when we come together and bring that, look, it's very important, the work that you're doing and bringing incredibly shocking topics into the awareness, or at least that there are things happening that nobody even thought that's possible.
Yeah,
I congratulate you for doing that. Well, and at the same time, we must also start thinking, okay, how do we want to live? And how do we get there? And how do we get together? And instead of the divide et impera, the conquer, I mean, come on, this is such an old play. Thousands of years. Can we stop it now?
Yeah.
No, 2025.
Yeah, we can and we will, and we absolutely are. But what we have to do, we have to stand like peaceful warriors and we have to take the trash out. If you don't take the trash out and if you negotiate with the trash, you lose. And the fact is, if we look at the mathematics of the entire planet, there's five of them, the trash, and there's 5 billion of us. And when we break it down, all the way down to clear, brutal facts, that is what we are looking at. I mean, I could be more specific, but I won't be. I think that's a good enough analogy right there. So at this stage, you don't negotiate emotionally with soulless psychopaths. You stand as
Mhm.
humanity, you stand as a family, and you take them out and you take them down in the ways that we do peacefully, as a one,
Yeah.
as unified humanity. And if someone needs a slap, they get it. You can forgive all you like after the bloody war is done and after the trash has been taken out. The mistakes that people make are, in my opinion, Daisy, are, ow, turn the other cheek. Why? You want to get the other one smashed in, do you? This is mind control programming, MK
Mm.
Ultra programming en masse. We do not turn the other cheek. We unite, we move forward, and we make sure that Reiner Fuellmich, Dr. Reiner Fuellmich, a global ambassador for justice, for crimes against humanity, for inhumane crimes in Deutsche Bank and Volkswagen and the shipping company Kuehne Nagrel, for example, that he shone a light there. People like him, they are head and shoulders above all men and women on this planet. And we will stand strong behind Dr. Reiner Fuellmich as we are, as we have been. And I want to say to anybody out there, Dr. Reiner has certain lawyers. It's taking so bloody long. Does anybody else out there have the guts, have the courage, have the power? Do you? Or are you just going to scroll on, are you? Come on, we need the giants to stand up now. Now is the time to stand. If you're just going to talk about it, eat your Cheetos and scroll on, please just don't even bother commenting on this video. In fact, don't even bother watching it. This is the time where we have to come together and help the giants like Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. He's incarcerated wrongly. Guess what, Daisy? 2 days before he was kidnapped on trumped up charges of fraud, illegally kidnapped by scummery in Mexico, then put on a plane to Germany, as we said, and taken to Frankfurt and banged up against his human rights. He and I were on the phone going back and forth, and we were about to do a broadcast. And the broadcast we were going to do was on twin friends of ours that we both know, these twin ladies, and they have been horrifically injured by the Jabberwocky, by the Jabberoo, and they couldn't bear it. They just couldn't bear to live. And so they made a decision to drink a cocktail and go to sleep forever. And me and Rainer, we were so devastated. We were so upset that they were going to do this. But it was obviously their decision. And these ladies are in their 90s and they were fit, they were wealthy, they were funny, they were beautiful, they were elegant, they were amazing women, right? Amazing women. I won't name them. Their daughter's a friend of mine. She's the one that introduced me to Rainer. I don't have her permission. She doesn't know I'm recording with you. So I'm going to be mindful of that. But Reiner did a broadcast with the two ladies, and the last thing he said to them was, "I will get justice for you." And that's who he is. He fights for humanity, he fights for justice. Anyway, the two ladies ended up taking their lives. One went first, and then the other sister followed a short while later because of the pain and the agony they were in from the jabs. And obviously, as we know, this is something that Dr. Reiner Fuellmich fought hard to bring awareness to and challenge doctors and challenge testing and challenged everything. And he was one of the first people on our planet to do it. And he woke so many people up. And so when I had this private session with him and I, turn on my Zoom and there he is, I'm like, oh my God, it was such a surreal moment. I'm like, dude, I follow you. I watch everything you do. I'm just so amazed by you. And then I'm like, let's come on my channel. Let's share you. Let's just, let me share your story with my beautiful audience. Because Daisy, I'm blessed. The audience that I get that come to this channel, they are uber intelligent. They are loving. They are warriors for justice. They are warriors for love. And they mostly want to do something. And a lot of them take action. They really do. So also want to encourage people with bigger platforms. I don't know about you, Daisy, but what I've seen out there in the world is there are people with massive platforms that are so selfish. All they think about is, oh, what will I get? Oh, but yeah, but I'm like, dude, if you are lucky enough to have a bigger channel than me, you should be doing big projects like this. You should be shining the light. You should be using your platform for the good of humanity. So I just want to, again, invite anyone out there, get Daisy Pap on your channel, get her on your channel, get me on your channel, get us on together on your channel. Just do something for this great man. Be part of the love revolution, the peaceful revolution, the justice for humanity. Get involved. Okay, I'm going to calm down now, Daisy. I'm going to come back to you. I want you to share the shop that you have, that people can purchase items to get gifts, but that funding goes to Reiner, to his freedom. Please, can you share that with us?
Sure. Yeah, well, so we created that with Inka, with Reiner's wife, because she's very, very modest, and she's such a loving lady, and I'm very grateful for our friendship and the love we share. And so we created that, and she said, no, she does not want to share it anywhere. And well, I will do it. I do it on your behalf. So you can go here to my website, and here on the top there's merchandise, and then you can find that Together We Are Strong, and also all proceeds go to Reiner's freedom. And we have some audio programs that are this one is a breathing technique, actually, that is based on a study from 1997 in University of Kassel in Germany, where they measured light photons, the emission of light photons of the human heart, and with a specific heart-focused breathing technique, you can 5,000-fold that, and you can have, imagine 100,000 light photons per second emitting from your heart. And we have that here in German and in English. Then we have I Free Myself is also a very empowering audio program. And then we have this in German language. So Together We Are Strong, and a towel, and a few little things. And of course we have here this where it says Free Reiner. So we have a few little things that are created to support, because there's so many people who supported Reiner, and Inka and I, we thought it's a good idea that people who support him, that they can also get something for that. So that is one thing. Then the other is that the address, of course, when somebody would like to write to Reiner, it can only be postcards or letters. And no glitter on the letters, no money or stamps in the letters. So that's very important. And that goes to, and we can put the address underneath here. It's JVA Rosdorf, Dr. Reiner Fuellmich, am Grossen Sieke 8 in D for Germany before, and then it's 37124. I count in German language. I'm German originally, so, and then in Rostorf, Germany, and he's grateful to receive mail from around the world, and I think it gives him a lot of strength. That's what I hear. That it brings a lot of strength to him that people are grateful. And I'm writing to him ever since. I'm writing to him letters every week, at least two letters every week. And I will continue doing that. And I'm looking forward to seeing him live, free, unconditionally. And I do believe it is important that we really get together to support this man and to support his wife as well. Only because she's such a lovely and modest lady, that does not mean that she does not need a giant amount of support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I can't imagine how
speak.
They fought so hard to get together, to be together, and for her to get out of Germany and to get to Mexico. And I just can't, and they weren't together that long. I just can't imagine how that lady's feeling and Inka is feeling. And, I wanted her to come on the channel, but she's very private. And so I'm so glad and grateful that you are, Daisy, and that we can support Inka. And I send you so much love, Inka, darling. And, as you can see, we're here fighting for your honey, fighting for your beloved and your beautiful, strong bull. Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. And it's amazing how many people know him. As you said in one of your letters there, it's so beautifully written. That's what brought me to tears as well. You write so well, that, he has affected in a good way millions and millions of people. He is a hero among the masses for so many great reasons. And as we're seeing, like the cabal, the stinkers at the top, they want to take the souls down of the lights on the planet. But with us as humanity, we are the ones that we say no, and we say enough. And we bring the solutions. We don't wait for them, guys. You don't wait for some little bloke in government. If the problem with the governments on the planet en masse is they forgot they work for us. They forgot they're our servants. They do our bidding, and they've forgotten. So we just got to shove them aside, get to those with big hearts. And again, that picture of him and Kennedy together, this is again an element of how connected to so many powerful people Reiner is, because he turns so many heads. He turns so many heads. And I want to say, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just want to say to people that I promise you, he will get your letters. He will get your loving, supportive letters, because he gets mine and he's written back. I get messages back. And it's so beautiful. I mean, I was like bawling, like crying, like last week, like, oh my God, right. It's just unbearable to think of him in a prison, this beautiful, bright, vibrant man, that lives to serve and lives to help and lives to fight for justice. And, we just can't allow it. Anyway, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
So it's his thinking. He's very unique in his thinking, and he's very unique in his moving forward, and he has a great sense of justice, and he's unstoppable. And I do believe, instead of only thinking of him where he's right now, how if we'd inspire your viewers and people who watch that later, or in a year from now, or in 2 minutes, that, okay, so just sit there for a moment and let's envision him as he's walking free unconditionally. And when we envision that, and just imagine the doors are open and he's walking free, and he's bringing his mind and his beautiful soul and spirit and the power of his thinking and this perseverance that he has and persistence, and he's just walking free, because I believe in that. And once we envision it, everything we can envision is possible. So let's be many who envision that. I'd like to share one more thing here, where you can find more letters here on the website. Look, you can find here, when you go on Foundation, letters to leaders, and then here you can find, they're not necessarily in maybe they are in row of date, but for example, this is written to the German federal president, that I share with who I am, and because I'm working on the education of humanization, yeah, for humanity. And I would like to ask you to pardon and release Dr. Reiner Fuellmich on the grounds that Dr. Reiner Fuellmich, who is currently in custody, is indeed a national hero of Germany, because he fought with his life against the entrenchment of COVIDism in Germany. As for the actual negative consequences of COVIDism, I'm attaching a link to the US Congress website, and they received that 520 pages. Yeah. Then this is a letter to an attorney of Viviane Fischer, because it's she's not very responsive when she's sent letters, and so I'm asking him to forward my letter to Viviane Fischer. And
isn't that the woman who lied publicly against Reiner, that Vivian chick? Isn't that her?
Yeah.
The evil has come out of her mouth, and he's in prison because of lies that she told. So okay, sorry, continue, please.
Yeah, so you can find a lot of letters. So you see, this one here is, I think, a very important letter, the letter to the Minister of Lower Saxony. the Minister of Justice, and they actually answered, and they said that they are going to bring forward. They consider what I wrote as a complaint, and I do not believe it's a complaint. It's not a complaint. I'm not complaining. I'm here to help them so that they can rectify the justice mistakes that they made. And I'm happy to connect them with people who are very well involved in the case, and we have an outline of the case, and so whoever would like to support that and speeding up, because we all need Reiner, even those who don't know him, who never met him or never heard his name. I truly believe that he is one of the puzzle pieces that helps us to bring humanity out of the crisis, to end the era of the crisis of Homo sapiens, and to transition into the epoch of Homo humanus.
Mm-hmm.
So the humane human. And we need Reiner for that.
Yeah,
We need him.
That's beautiful. And it's so true. There's just something so different and magnetic and mesmerizing and beautiful and shocking and awe-inspiring about him when he talks, and that passion comes up and you're like, he's like, get out of the way, with his love and for justice. I mean, he's such a unique individual. Again, that's why he's been incarcerated illegally. I want to say to people watching too, that as you go to daisypap.com, daisypap, double P, daisypap.com, all the letters are there. You can copy them. The addresses are there. The names are there. Daisy's done incredible work in researching who are the best people she can reach out to make sure the light is shone on his freedom. I mean, Daisy, you've done incredible. Thank you so much. I'm so honored, that you've done that on behalf of our friend and this great man.
Thank you. Thank you. I cannot not do it. But I'd like to share one more aspect that I think will be very helpful. When you write letters to these humans in these positions, yeah, I just writing very respectfully and speaking about what you want. Because when we continue telling them what went wrong, that is not going to support Reiner. When we show that we are smart and we are peaceful, but very stern, we know exactly what we want. We want freedom of thinking, freedom of speech. We want freedom for Reiner and many other things. And when we speak kindly about that, not like a child throwing a fit or a temper tantrum, but kindly, smartly, respectfully, I think that goes a very long way. And let's write about what we wish. We want Reiner free. Please correct any mistakes that might have happened. Because, look, I'm not the judge and I'm not the jury. But I can still state friendly, politely what I want. And that is what Reiner wants to. He knows how to verbalize when it goes to, okay, so this was not right, and now how do we make up for that? That's his role, not ours, I think. And when there are other attorneys who are really considering themselves having also balls the size of Reiner's, like the Dinosaurus Rex, then please contact any of us, and let's end this, and let's start Reiner's freedom right here, right now.
Absolutely. How beautiful. I got in touch with a lawyer. Oh, you froze. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, when it first happened, I just couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. It was just like being hit by a car. I just couldn't believe that they did that to him, kidnapped him, and just deceitful, awful crimes against humanity. And my friend, Dr. Christiane Northrup, who most people on the planet know, the great gynecologist, the speaker against crimes against humanity too, that we all did, me, Reiner, and her, and Dr. Lee Merritt did some work together. And she put me in touch with a lawyer called Sean Rice. Now, he does a lot of work for the indigenous. And it's interesting because right before Reiner was arrested, he was looking at different ways to go around the law, to basically take the bad people down. And one of the ways he was going was through New Zealand Maori law, and he was very excited about that. Anyway, that was impinged. And then he found another tribal law in Africa. We were chatting back and forth about that. We were sharing information on that. And always looking of ways to like be heard and be seen. And where was I going with that? I get so distracted thinking about him, and all the work. Oh yeah, Sean Rice. Sean Rice, I really liked him. What a powerhouse. Now, I'm assuming that he can get, Reiner out in 2 days. He's like, Danny, this is going to take some time. And my God, 14 months later, this is certainly taking way too much time. And then Sean Rice was talking about getting Reiner there was all this, I wrote everything down. I wrote pages and he dictated to me. I wrote everything down and I sent it to his lawyers. And it was about being a sovereign, about not representing himself in court, but presenting himself in court, which has worked in America for certain people using these indigenous tribal laws. But as you said earlier, it doesn't really work in Germany. That's just to let people know if that's your intention. And we've tried and he's tried and Reiner is aware. As long as Reiner's aware and as long as he's making his decisions, even though he's in prison right now, that's what we truly care about, right? And speaking to it and shining a light on it. Yeah. So, and your advice on writing like grown-ups, writing like calm adults, even though people have a rage like I do against the atrocities, but speaking the language that Reiner has approved because he knows how the system works and you know how the system works. So that's why I want to encourage people just to copy what you wrote because it's so beautiful and it's powerful and it's impactful, right?
Well, if people feel like copying, I'm happy to. I mean, it's public. These letters that are public, they can be, they you can use some of the text or write from your heart. I think when we speak from the heart, then we are more likely to reach, the addressee's heart.
Yeah.
And I believe in that. And yes, are we angry? We have the right to be angry, but we don't have the right to behave upon that anger. That's what I think. So we have the right to be angry. We have the right to be upset. I have the right to be angry. I don't have the right to punish you because I'm angry. And I think that's we can all come together and lead and live by these humane values, and be human.
Exactly.
Remember, becoming a member again of humanity.
Yeah. And then the more people that write, they're not going to be able to ignore, and guys, document, what you're doing. And then if you get letters back, if you get responses back from the authorities, share it, like all come on my channel. Let's do a big round table. Who did you write to? What did they say? What was the response? Show us the proof. Let's just make a big noise about it. This is how we free our brothers and our sisters by uniting in these ways. Is there anything final that you would like to share on our
Yes, I very much like that idea with the round table and share the letters and maybe making it, which is so it's not like a competition, not at all, but that we applaud then the most kind and brilliantly written letter to bring that freedom now. For Reiner. And so really that it's okay, so who is capable of writing the kindest, nevertheless very, very distinct letter with where they say what they want. Free Reiner now. Thank you. Thank you for what you are doing. And I can tell that you care for humans a lot. And that is our common denominator, one of the many. And of course our friend we have in common, Reiner. Thank you for your time and thank you for what you do.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Daisy Pat. Thank you for the great work that you do and that you've done. Thank you for reaching out to me. I was so honored and so touched that you did. And here we are uniting for our beloved friend, Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. And this is the way that humanity wins through love, through peace, a couple of kicks up the arse here and there, but moving forward in the ways of love. Thank you, Daisy Pap.
Thank you, Danya.
And to you guys watching out there, thank you so much for sharing time with Daisy Pap and I. She's so easy to contact, guys, and her name, you can't forget it, daisypap with a double P.com, daisypap.com. Obviously, I'll put all the details underneath this broadcast, but many of you don't ever go under there, do you? So I'm telling you again, daisypap.com for all the letters, for the people to write to, and let's do something to free this giant. My name is Danny Henderson. I send you love from my heart to yours. I send so much love to Dr. Reiner Fuellmich. We're getting you out, mate. We love you. We love you, Reiner. We're getting you out. We send our love to Inka also. All right. God bless everyone.